All right, did it pop up?
Yes.
Okay. I haven't done a Zoom for a while, so.
Oh, no problem.
I do want to apologize in the beginning. I have my 4-year-old in the store. He's being entertained, but
Oh,
just in case, he's in the back being entertained. And I
no
told him,
problem at all. We can roll with that.
okay. I'm
Perfect,
also a little
okay.
sick, so I do apologize for that too. All right. Well,
All right, go ahead.
all right. So I'm very excited to share with you all about Wisconsin Makers Market. So for this presentation, when I say makers, it's going to all encompass artists, bakers, creators, anything in that realm. Alrighty. So the goal of Wisconsin Makers Market is truly to support local makers. I act as a bridge between makers and then makers in the community. The goal is to provide a collaborative and accessible space for the community and makers to come together. When shopping with us, customers get to see firsthand the ripple effect that they have by shopping local and shopping handmade. They are helping create a community that allows makers from all over Wisconsin to live out their dream. So a little bit about me. I was working full-time back in January 2020 and started a small business called Essential Healing. I was able to get in one craft fair before COVID shut down the world. And I realized I was in a predicament where I needed to get my product seen and wasn't sure how to go about that. And I wasn't the only one dealing with that. There was a crisis that a lot of handmade makers were dealing with. So I had decided to create a Facebook virtual craft fair. We ran them monthly for about 1.5 to 2 years. They were very successful. I met a lot of amazing people that way. And then things started opening back up and online sales weren't quite as popular anymore. So I, almost a year ago now to the date, I did my first in-person market on Small Business Saturday. And that's kind of how Wisconsin Makers Market was officially born. So that was the original start of Wisconsin Makers Market. During the process of organizing the events, I realized I really enjoyed that side of things. Like I enjoyed being a maker, but I really enjoyed organizing the events, consulting with makers, helping them get seen. And that's when the vision for the store kind of started to come into play. So after speaking with vendors and figuring out kind of what their unmet needs were within the community, I made it a focus of Wisconsin Makers Market to only allow vendors to choose their selling style. So in the store, they can choose between general consignment and they can choose between pop-up options. We have monthly pop-up options and options where they can just pop up for a day at a time. So they get to choose what works best for them and their business. We only have handmade products, so they don't have to worry about competing with mass-produced products. We only have Wisconsin makers, and we focus on products that connect with Midwestern people and families, as well as still appealing to tourists. The store and Wisconsin Makers Market in general is really about creating a sense of community and collaboration and a sense of home. We allow vendors to maintain their branding, so they're able to self-promote that way. And we also provide additional services to store vendors such as product photography. So I just wanted to real quick here show just a couple things that are from my business plan that I created a few months back before I opened the store. This was just kind of a rough view of based on how many vendors I could fit in the store, where my revenue would be. And then here's a look into what sales have been like so far. July 1st was our opening. We had a grand opening event and we had a very, very high sales 2 days with our grand opening. And then August and September, you can see are just a little lower, but that was with the normal shopping and no grand big event. October, we surpassed July, and I'm looking at November and December just to continue growing. Who we're targeting, I'm looking at, of course, local makers, artists, and other handmade small businesses to be vendors in the store or at the markets, and as well as those who like to shop local. I reach out to people in the community to give them opportunities to not only shop local in the store, but they also, through our workshops and markets, get to learn from artists, and sometimes even create their own custom pieces. As I mentioned, I'm working on kind of bridging a gap between traditional vendor markets, consignment, and community workshops, and bringing it all kind of into one collaborative space and welcoming space. I'm all about community and collaboration, so I don't like to do the competitors, but for the sense of doing a business plan, competitors, especially in the downtown area, are Tangled Up in Hue. They do handmade products, one of my favorite places to shop. The local store focuses a lot on the local stuff and also has handmade stuff. And Broom and Crow also does handmade and consignment as well. When it comes to marketing, I've already utilized a lot of local marketing. So I mean, myself, I utilize Instagram and Facebook. I'm very active on both of those. We have a website. We have also had articles in Volume 1, in Leader Telegram. I have another one coming out that I can't think of the magazine off the top of my head. And then I also have done advertising through all of them as well as had commercials on both radio and TV. Let's talk a little bit more about the store. So Wisconsin Makers Market isn't just a store. As I said, it's a community. The store allows makers to choose between pop-ups or general consignment, whatever works best for them in their business. The monthly pop-ups allow them to basically set up their own little mini store within my store. They rent out a space for a month at a time, and they get to set it up however they want. They put up their branding, they can decorate it however, they can make it their aesthetic. It's their place for a month at a time, and they don't have to staff it. I handle all transactions for them, and then they can choose to rotate out, or they can choose to stay on for another month. They also get some additional marketing efforts and some other perks as well. We also host vendor markets and workshops, and you don't need to be a vendor in the store to participate in any of those. This allows even more makers to get seen. Workshops, as you can see on the screen here, here's some photos from some workshops that we've had in the store. They bring together the makers in the community in a fun, relaxed environment. It allows the community to not only connect with other community members, whether or not they came with them or not, but they also get to connect with the maker and learn a new skill and enjoy some self-care time. We've hosted a variety of different ones, from cookie decorating to DIY signs. We also have had a picture of a pop-up there. We've done earring making, and more. We've also had community events scheduled. We just hosted a Halloween event. It was free. I encourage kids in the community to come dressed up, and they were able to do crafts. You can see the little coloring pouches there. I had some themed snacks, some Halloween music, and it was just a fun way for them to be able to wear their costume on another day besides Halloween, and just enjoy a free community event. The space that I utilize for workshops is generally set up as a seating area within the store. Customers or community members are welcome to come in, and if they want to enjoy some of the food or drink that we have in the store, they're welcome to, or they can work, hang out, do some homework, whatever they need. Is just kind of like a little kind of coffee shop area without the coffee. I try to do coffee though, and tea on Saturdays. I have two sons, as I mentioned. One of them is with me all the time, and then another one is with me for a couple hours, typically on Thursday and Fridays. So I have kid activities in the store, which has been a lifesaver for when parents come in with their kids, because I'm able to set up things and activities for them to do so the parents can shop. And it's actually been a lifesaver, because I mean, what kids really want to, the little kids want to shop when they can play with magnetics, right? So our vendor markets are different than your average craft fair. We partner with local nonprofits for almost all of our events to raise money for their organization. Most of our events we'll also have like food trucks and live music, and we'll partner with other local businesses such as Riverbend Winery to host the markets and do like a collaborative event. They only allow handmade products. And I put a limit on the amount of vendors. That way the vendors that are there know that their products are going to get seen and they're not competing with mass produced products. The events, they truly have a true sense of community. And as you can see, they're a blast to attend. They're a lot of fun. Wisconsin Makers Market also has a maker blog on our website, and that is written by store vendors. As of now, the blog comes out 2 times a month, and it features written works from the vendors that are in the store. They can talk about really anything they want. They can talk about business, behind the scenes, give some DIY tips and tricks. It's really their space to use their voice and share what they want with the world.
Chelsea, I'm gonna have to stop you. You're 10 minutes right now.
Oh my gosh, we're ready?
Yeah, so maybe some topics you didn't cover can be covered in some questions from the
Yeah,
judges,
absolutely.
perhaps. All right, judges, if you have any questions for Chelsea, have at her.
Well, I probably missed this. A quick question. Where's your store? It's downtown, you said?
Yes. I did not mention that, so thank you for asking. So the store is located on East Grand Avenue, right next to the walking bridge, on the opposite side of Corton House.
Okay,
The
great.
big bee sculpture is right in front of my store.
Ah, nice. Okay. And then how do you may have said this, I'm not sure either, but how do you define handmade?
So that's a great question. So when it comes to handmade, for the most part, if you're buying different pieces of things and you're putting them together, and like a lot of things with earrings, it'll be like that, where they'll kind of buy their supplies from different areas and then they'll put something together and create something new. I consider that handmade.
Okay. At one point you said something about not mass produced or something, so.
Right. So when it comes to mass produced, it's like if you went shopping at like Hobby Lobby and bought something that for Christmas or something like that, for decor, that that's the mass produced side of things that I'm referring to. But a lot of times the pieces that are in a handmade thing can be mass produced.
Okay. And then do you qualify like by quality? I mean, are you the one who curates what gets to go in there?
Yes, I am. And honestly, I haven't had to be really picky because Wisconsin is full of amazingly talented people. It's been an amazing experience. My wait list includes people that I try not to overlap the vendors in my store either. So if I have someone who makes I'm looking around here to say something. If I have someone who makes scrunchies, then I'm like, okay, like we have our scrunchies covered, we have our candles covered, because I want to make sure that I'm not creating competition within the store either. I'm sorry, can you repeat what you said again?
You answered it. Thank you.
Okay, great.
With your financial projections there, I didn't quite see where exactly how close you were to having a business that would support you, I guess is what I'm trying to spit
Right,
out.
yes. And I knew that I was probably going to struggle with my 10 minutes today. And so I didn't know how much to include with that. But right now I am not currently taking a paycheck, but my goal is in 2023 to start paying myself as well. I really wanted to give the first 6 months to really just getting the store up and running, focusing on pushing marketing. And my goals also include potentially moving to a bigger space in the future as well. So I show the revenue, but when you look at the expenses, I do very much showcase like, okay, with that revenue, it still would include higher expenses I would have for paying myself starting next year and potentially having a bigger space. I've been getting quotes from realtors in the area to see how much spaces are costing for bigger spaces too. So.
Perfect. Any other questions from the judges?
So what would you like to do if you win?
Oh my goodness.
With the earnings?
Yes, if I were to get any funds from this grant, my plan would actually be to utilize those for marketing purposes. I want to get more TV and radio advertising in for and kind of plan out my 2023 marketing. So if I won that, that would kind of help me with the budget for 2023.
Thank you.
How many vendors do you have now?
Yes, we currently have over 70 vendors in store.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yep, and that includes some food and drink vendors as well.
Perfect. Well, that wraps up the time that we have for judges. So thank you so much for your time today. I'll follow up with everybody next week a little bit of kind of what next steps are and stuff. So we appreciate your time and your good luck with your new business.
Thank you. I appreciate all of you.
You
Have a
got
great
it.
rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do you guys need a couple minutes? Our next speaker is in the waiting room.
I'm ready for the next one if everybody else is.
I could use another minute.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, I'm good whenever.
Okay. Hello, Brianna.
Hi,
How are you?
good, how are you?
Good, welcome. So I'm gonna have the judges here introduce themselves so you know who you're talking to, and then you'll be able to share your screen if you have a presentation, and then I'll start your clock.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay, Pear first.
Sure, hi, Per Forsberg, retired small businessman. I owned and operated and eventually sold 3 different businesses over 45 years, and now volunteering with SCORE, mentoring people in small business.
Perfect, thank you. Anne?
Hi, I'm Ann Ruppno with the UW Eau Claire Entrepreneur Program and with Weiss's Venture Home Eau Claire.
Great, and Luke?
I'm Luke Hansen, Executive Director of the Eau Claire Area Economic Development Corporation.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. So do you have are you sharing a presentation?
Yep.
Okay, go
I gotta
ahead.
figure out how to screen share.
Yeah. See on the bottom, it says share screen.
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
Okay. Mhm. Is it working?
I just see you so far.
All right, hold on. Huh. It wants me to quit Zoom, apparently.
Oh, don't do that.
Share.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. All right. Let me get it open.
I think you just want to do slideshow. Yeah, that one.
There we go. Got it.
There we go.
All right.
Okay,
So,
I'll go ahead and start your time.
all right. So my name is Brianna Vodvarka, and I'm the owner of Black Kettle Tea Shop. We're a small loose leaf tea company that I originally started out of my own home. And then from there, I was making natural remedies for friends, and then we expanded from there. We are currently doing wholesale in central and northern Wisconsin. We have 12 accounts so far, so that's a little bit about me. Our vision is to provide top quality natural beverages at affordable prices. And we are going to offer a space that allows people to learn about what different herbal remedies can do for them. And the products we are going to be offering are loose leaf tea, tea accessories, which would include like the tea steepers, all of the cups and mugs, the tea kettles, the electric kettles, all of those things. And we're going to be offering create your own blends, as well as some boutique items from local artists to do consignment. How many people in the US drink tea at least once a day? It's 159 million, which is a lot more than even I expected. From 2012, the industry grew from 113,361.1 million to over 199 million. We're going to be offering loose leaf tea, ready to drink kava beverages, tea accessories, and the option to create your own, which is going to be huge because people have unique needs that they are looking for and unique things that they like in a tea. So being able to play with flavors and being able to create things specifically for their own medicinal needs is going to be huge. So where do we source our products? All of our products are either grown right in our own backyard, or we pair up with other small farmers that believe in the same vision as us, which we believe in sustainability and creating natural products that better our ecosystem and heal our bodies. Our goals for short term and long term is in the next section. So short term, we want to double our social media following. We currently have quite a big following on Facebook and Instagram. We reach around 2,500 people via our social media channels alone weekly. We're going to be opening a storefront, and we want to hire at least one other employee. I'm saying one just because we want to hire someone who is also knowledgeable in herbalism so they can answer any questions that anybody might have. In long term, we are going to be expanding into a new geographic market. So currently, we are in central Wisconsin, the Chippewa Valley. We have some accounts up in northern Wisconsin, but we are going to expand into Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois, and southern Wisconsin. We want to broaden our products and services, which goes also into the last bullet there, expanding into a cafe type shop. So we want to offer a kava bar and a tea bar cafe style, and expand into up to 3 employees as well. Our next section is our marketing summary. We're going to cover target market, the promotional strategy, and our competition. So 87% of American millennials drink tea. 53% of tea drinkers are women and 48% are men. Using that data, we came to the conclusion that our potential clients just within Eau Claire are 14,400 people. And that's just within Eau Claire. We also do wholesale, so we will be reaching even more people that way. Promotional strategy. So we, like I said, we use social media quite a bit, which is like basically free advertising for us. Most of our sales currently come from Facebook and Instagram. We're also involved in a lot of markets. We're in the farmers market. We're in a lot of markets that small businesses have in Eau Claire, where we hand out business cards. We're able to connect with clients as well as other small business owners. We also work with small businesses in Eau Claire to create custom blends for their brand. So currently, we are working with Wholesome Endeavors. We created a specialty tea blend for her to reduce inflammation in her clients. And we also created another specialty blend for Lunchbox EC that is out of Banbury. We stock multiple locations via wholesale, which allows us to reach clients that we might not otherwise reach just by ourselves. We're currently on I-94 and 95.9 Jams, so we do advertising through the radio. I have a blog on there. And we also do a lot of stickers, which sounds silly, but people love to put them on water bottles and their laptops. It's basically a super cheap way to get advertising. So our competition, Starbucks and Caribou, local coffee shops and grocery stores. Our advantage is that we are focusing on tea. These places are more coffee based, and we are also going to be offering kava, which is currently not offered anywhere else in Eau Claire, or even in really Wisconsin for that matter. It's a root from Hawaii that is a natural muscle relaxant, and it's a mood enhancer. And it's a great alternative to alcohol, which is huge because I feel like millennials these days are kind of shying away from the bar scene and trying to find alternatives for alcohol and for sugary beverages. So our financial plan, we've got our gross margin, expenses, and our predicted annual totals. So as you can see here, let's see if I can, whoops. Here we go. So on the bottom, we have listed all of the items that we will be offering. So we're going to be having tea accessories, apparel, our loose leaf tea, wholesale items, as well as art consignments. Our gross margin is going to be around 60%. And here is all of our expenses. So our startup expenses for the first month is up there on the left side. Below that is our predicted month-to-month expenses. Our annual gross revenue for the first year having a physical retail location is predicted to be around $41,000. And as you can see, for our first 3-year annual totals, we are going to have a steady increase. Our first year and a half of being in business, we doubled our sales. And I have some reviews here for you guys. We have quite a few reviews. People are all saying the same thing, that we are great about working with people to find something that works for them. The taste is great and our branding is fantastic. And I'm open for questions.
Excellent. And any judges have any questions for Brianna?
What is the timing of opening your shop, and do you have the location selected? You may have said that, but
Yeah, so we actually did secure a location on Barstow, right next to Raggedy Man. We are planning to be open by the end of this month.
okay. And do you have any, if you would win the idea challenge, do you have a plan for what you want to do with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we want to expand into a cafe type style. So that would be, I need to get quick kitchen equipment and all of that stuff, as well as like more shelving and also some more inventory.
Okay. And why is kava not sold more?
Most people just don't really know about it. It's kind of new. It's huge in Florida and the southern states. It's really popular down there. They actually have specific places where they sell kava. They're called kava bars.
Oh, yeah.
It just hasn't really migrated up here quite yet.
Interesting. Okay, I might have more questions, but I'll let someone else go.
Early on, you were talking about how you had in your market, geographical market area in southern Wisconsin and all over the place. And I'm confused because you have yourself and you're hoping to expand up to, you know, a small number of employees. So how do you consider what is or is not a geographical market for you?
So where our wholesale accounts currently are, we have, yep. So we have wholesale accounts in the Chippewa Valley and northern Wisconsin currently.
What long term are you thinking is going to be your balance between wholesale and retail?
I'm hoping to focus more on the retail side. We do want to expand wholesale. We want to just mostly be in the Midwest though. But I like to have a one-on-one experience with all of my customers.
And so you're obviously not producing your own kava, but the other other ingredients. I mean, how large of a farm or whatever do you have in terms of producing your own?
So we have renovated our basement into a growing space, and also we have half an acre of our backyard that I use. And then we have a friend that is down in Florida. We have friends out in Menominee that we source our products from. We also get basil and stuff from local farmers markets.
You may have said this too, but what is your training or how did you get into this and learn about it?
Yeah, sure. So I struggled with my mental health for years and years and years, and I was kind of looking for something as a form of therapy for myself. So I started gardening and studying herbalism like 5 years ago, and making stuff for myself. And then it turned into making remedies for my friends' kids who had ADHD, and then it just expanded from there.
So was it sort of trial and error, or you did a lot
Yeah.
of research,
Yep.
or you got some certifications, or?
Lots of research. My brother's also a plant biologist, so I learned a lot from him as well.
Cool.
I may have missed it, but when is your space opening up of Barstow?
Yep, the end of November.
End of November. Getting close.
Yep.
Did you say you are going to offer anything besides tea in your space?
Yeah, so we're doing art consignment with local
that's nice.
artists. So we are super involved in the art scene in Eau Claire, just because we have been in a ton of artist markets. So we've teamed up with a ton of artists that are going to be offering their products there as well. And a lot of people that make like natural remedies. We have someone who makes like salves out of nettle leaf, which is really cool. And then somebody who makes a menstrual cycle box.
Yeah, but as far as the cafe aspect, it's tea. Is that right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Sounds
Okay,
like you have some good traction.
Yeah, right. All right, the time is up now. So Brianna, I will be in touch with you and then like probably early next week with kind of some next steps for you. But we
Okay.
appreciate your time and good luck with your store opening.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, our next speaker is not in the waiting room yet, but I gave her the 4:15 time, so we're a little ahead of schedule.
And who do we have next?
Her name is Lydia. And she, from the application, she's the director of what's gonna be the new childcare center in the Children's Museum.
Oh,
And
okay.
she's got some scalable, I don't know, business ideas on that topic.
Okay. And then we have two more after her.
We do.
And then this is the last meeting.
It is. It is. Yeah.
We've gotten some good
I think so.
responses.
With a slow
Yeah.
summer, it feels like we've got some nice choices to make.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Uh,
When I turned my screen off, I was getting a call from one of the applicants who is pitching later today. It's kind of cramming for a test or something, it felt like.
Oh my,
It
hope it wasn't one of my students.
was not. It felt like a student call. It felt like my kid calling his teacher in a panic because something's due in an hour.
Who do you have for Hatch? Are you, do you have a lane? I didn't look all that well.
I will tell you after today. How
Okay,
about that?
sounds good. I'm still trying to get mine solidified.
It feels like I've had this conversation with everybody. Tyler from CVTC didn't know who to suggest,
Yeah,
and Adam had the same conversation with me on Wednesday.
I had to actually call them today because I went to register
Oh, did it say sold out?
just to try because the dean wanted to know when it was, so I was like, hit the register button for myself, so I know what she would experience and
Yeah.
see. And it said, oh.
Yes.
Sold out.
I think with the new venue, they were keeping attendance like to 80 or something.
Okay, yeah, so I didn't want to get a picture and have not
that-
be able to be there.
And not be there.
Yeah, but it's all good, I guess.
I'm
You
sure
know,
they'll sneak you in.
It's always an adventure.
with yes, with that fella, it certainly is. It is. It's just a brand now. We know what to
That
expect.
fella,
That
yeah,
fella.
there you go.
Oh, here we go. She's in my waiting room now. Hi, Lydia. Welcome.
Hi, you Becca?
I am Becca. Nice to meet you.
Too.
So this is our judging panel for the Idea Challenge. I'm going to have them introduce themselves to you
Okay.
before we get started with your screen share and timing and stuff. So go ahead.
Sounds
Per.
good.
Yeah, Per Forsberg, retired from 45 years of running my own businesses, now volunteering for SCORE as a mentor.
Perfect. Anne?
Hi, I'm Ann Rupno with UW Eau Claire's Entrepreneur Program and Oasis Venture Home Eau Claire.
Go ahead.
Luke Hansen, Executive Director of the Eau Claire Area EDC.
Perfect. And are you going to share your screen, Lydia?
Yes, I can. I don't think I will right away.
Okay, perfect. And you must do that often, so we're not testing it.
Yeah, I never have done it, but I think I can figure it out.
So down at the bottom, there's that share screen.
Yep.
button.
I see it. So,
Yep. And then it'll have you select what file you want to open.
okay.
Get to it, okay? If
Okay.
you are comfortable, I will start your 10 minutes and then why don't you go ahead and start?
Okay, sounds good. Hello. So I am Lydia Eckenstead. I'm the owner of Peacetree. And I don't have, a fancy PowerPoint presentation or anything, but I just wanted to share with you kind of my heart behind my business and my why, and then just chat with you about what I've been doing and what I've been working on over the last couple of years. So I was in the public education teaching for about 10 years. And I was teaching at a Montessori school at the time that COVID hit. And so I got sent home from teaching because of COVID and the shutdowns and everything. And I had a small daughter at the time, and I was pregnant with my second child as well. And that's kind of when my idea to start my own business came about. And so I decided to open my own in-home daycare at that time, because I really enjoyed being home with my daughter, and I wanted to be the biggest influence on their life and in their education and in their upbringing. I wanted to be right there alongside them. So I actually started my business in 2020, that fall, after COVID happened. So my business started out as an in-home childcare center. And as I began operation and grew kind of my clientele in the area and got to know people, my waiting list grew from 10 people to 20 people to 40 people. And I thought, wow, this is kind of seems like a really big need in this area. And so I started looking into opportunities to expand into a group center. And so I did a lot of research on the area in buildings, whether renting or purchasing, getting business loans and things like that. And the costs just were adding up, and it was becoming a very overwhelming monetarily. And that was something that I just wasn't ready for. And a year and a half ago, around the same time that my waiting list was growing, I had applied for another grant and won. And through that grant and through networking with that grant, I was able to get connected with the CEO of the Children's Museum in Eau Claire. And with conversations with Michael, the CEO of the Children's Museum, we started having lots of conversation about how can we partner and how can we work together to make this happen, to help solve this problem in our community. Because both of us were kind of looking for what the other person was able to give. I had the expertise in licensing, in childcare, and how to run a center, because I had been operating for about a year at that time. And I had all my educational background. And the museum said, we have this great space, we have all this capital, we want to use it for childcare, but we don't know anything about licensing, we don't know anything about running a childcare center. So he and I kind of met at the perfect time, and we created this awesome partnership and kind of pushed my business into a new business model. So that's where that all started. So now I've been working with the Children's Museum for over a year to get a childcare center open within their new building. And so this new business model really looks like me and as Peachtree coming in as a childcare management service. So I work in partnership with other businesses, with other companies, with other organizations, in order to open a childcare center that's owned by them. And I can run it with the expertise that it needs to be run, so it's high quality. And with this business model, it allows us to keep our tuition rates really competitive, and not have to charge a huge amount in order to pay our staff more, or in order to provide such a high quality childcare center. Because of the partnership between my business and other businesses and companies, we are able to share a lot of that administrative overhead costs, like accounting expenses, things like that, software that businesses needs, those costs are shared. So then it doesn't have to, all of that doesn't have to come out of the daycare expenses specifically. So that allows us to be able to pay our childcare staff a much higher wage than the average in the area. And we can still charge reasonable prices to families. So families can still afford it. They get really high quality childcare, and our staff are compensated really well. So I can share with you now I'll share with you first my website. Let me see. Screen. I will share this. So you should be able to see my website. And my logo and everything. So this is my website that I use currently for my in-home childcare center. And like you see at the top, it's sharing that I'm partnering with Children's Museum of Eau Claire, but I'm also working on creating partnerships with some local school districts and different organizations as well. And I'm going to share with you some of our profit projections. I worked really closely with SCORE and actually the UW Eau Claire Small Business Development Center. They have been invaluable in me developing my business, and they helped me create all of these financial projections. So the page that you should be seeing is my 1, 2, and 3 year projected finances. So the client, being the Children's Museum, pays me a base salary or a base payment each month. And then we work out a contract for profit sharing. So the way that we have it set up is the Children's Museum, because the childcare center is owned by them, takes on the majority of the expense. The only expenses that are taken from the childcare revenue would be labor costs and cost of materials. So those two things are taken out of the childcare revenue. Everything else is considered profit, and that's shared between myself and the museum, or myself and the client. And as Peachtree, because I operate as a management service, I don't have to have my own office because I work out of everywhere. And so my business expenses are quite low. And as you can see, that gives me a net income at the end of year 1 of $66,000. So this is what my new business model has been kind of morphed into since I first started in 2020. Yeah, I think that's kind of all I have, and I hope that came across, but I think you guys are able to ask me some questions now.
Yeah, we
as
will.
well.
Great, thank you. We'll open it up for questions now
Okay.
from the judges. Go ahead, guys.
I'll start. I'm wondering, it's an interesting concept, and I have a daughter with a 3-year-old child, and so at least I know a little more than nothing about the childcare situation.
Mhm.
And it's a big area. Is this expandable beyond this particular client, or is this a one-off kind of a thing within
Mhm.
this area?
Yeah, I think it's definitely expandable. Like I said, my business of Peachtree would be able to partner with a lot of different businesses, companies, organizations. I've been having some conversations with some school districts in the Northern Territories of Wisconsin, and partnering with some school districts to open childcare centers within their buildings as well. So as long as, kind of the requirements for partnering with me would be, you are an organization or a business that is looking to provide childcare as a benefit to staff for their employees, and be willing to either you have a space available to be converted into a childcare center, or be willing to create a space that could be turned into a childcare center. So this is a great way for companies to offer childcare as a benefit to their employees and have that be a benefit for them for employment. Because it'll be childcare right on site. They can have specific discounts for their childcare, things like that. But also, it doesn't have to be just for employees. It can be for other community members as well. But there can be, specific discounts for people employed with the company.
Okay, so something like the Children's Museum is essentially open to the public in terms of bringing their children, but let's say Cray Research was a client that might be, depending on them, limited to just their own employees, whatever model they want to go with.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the beauty of the model as well, is I work under contract. And so I can adjust what I do based on what the client needs as well and what they want. If they only want childcare for just their employees, we can do that. We can make that work. It can be really flexible with what each individual client wants and needs, what their space will allow, because the physical space will make some of those determinations because of state licensing regulations and requirements.
Yeah, so the client actually pays for the heat and lights, and looking at your spreadsheet there, I'm guessing also pays for the heavy cost of insurance, right? Because you don't, that's a minimal amount of insurance.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So I get that you don't own the business. Will you end up actually doing daycare yourself, or you're going to be so busy hiring people, putting them in training, making sure it ends up being a great childcare experience?
Yeah, so I won't own a daycare or a childcare center myself.
Right.
I'll just be providing those services. So the childcare and the daycare centers will be owned by each individual client or business.
Yeah, but what is your role then? Hiring staff and training staff and all of that?
Yep. So my role is basically what the role of a director of a childcare center would be. And then as my business grows and expands into these multiple sites, I under Peachtree would have to hire additional directors to run those extra sites. So myself and the directors that work under me would act as a director for each childcare center. So that would be including hiring and firing staff, managing curriculum, managing staff and scheduling, managing material purchasing,
so
all of the ins and outs of the everyday operations of the childcare center.
Right. So I've heard a lot about the childcare issue. I don't have little ones anymore, but it's an issue of hiring people, right? And finding the right people.
For sure.
What gives you confidence that this model is going to work?
Yeah, absolutely. That's been a big question that a lot of people have asked. Because it's really uncertain times with employees right now. But I think that because we're able to compensate our employees so much better, for example, typically in this area, lead teachers will make between $12 and $15 an hour. At the model that we have set up, we're able to pay our assistant teachers $15 an hour and our lead teachers $18 an hour because of how we set it up. I also, these individual clients are also not paying individual directors. They are paying Peachtree to provide high quality directors. So I, through my business, am able to compensate my directors that work under me better than individual or privately owned childcare centers.
I'm gonna have to stop us here as time is up. So thank you so much, Lydia, for your presentation, and I'll follow up early next week with kind of some next steps. So I appreciate that very much.
Great, sounds good.
Yep.
try to. Get out of here.
There we go. And our next presenter is in the waiting room, so tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Gotcha.
Ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Hello, hi Geneva.
Hello,
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, good. Everything's working. All right.
Great. All right. We see you. Do you see us?
Yep, I got everybody.
Perfect. So welcome to the Idea Challenge pitches. I'm going to let the three judges here introduce who they are so you know who you're talking to. And then I'll be able to let you share your screen if you have a presentation and then start your 10 minutes after we're done with intros. Okay?
Okay.
All right, Per?
Yeah, hi, Per Forsberg, volunteering with SCORE since I retired 6 years ago after owning several businesses over the 45 years of my career.
Perfect. And Ann?
Hi, Geneva. Ann Rupno with UW Eau Claire's Entrepreneur Program, also with WISES Venture Home Eau Claire.
And Luke?
Luke Hansen, Executive Director of the Eau Claire Area Economic Development Corporation.
Great.
Nice
And
to meet everybody.
Thank you. If you have, are you going to share a screen?
No, not today.
Okay, perfect. Then I will start my 10 minutes right when you're ready to go.
All right. Hello, good afternoon. I'm Geneva Koleski, and I'm here to talk to you about an exciting idea for a new cafe. I call it Cacao Cafe. They have a little logo already. How many of you have heard of coffee? Everybody's heard of coffee. How many have heard of Starbucks or Caribou or even ECDC downtown? All right. I would be really surprised if you hadn't heard of any of those. But have you heard of cacao? Have you heard of cocoa? Cocoa and cacao are used interchangeably. What it is, it's the bean that basically makes chocolate in the end after it's all processed. But have you ever heard of brewed cacao? Basically, you can brew a cocoa bean the same as you do a coffee bean. And what you're going to get is you're going to get a drink that has notes of a dark chocolate flavor instead of your traditional coffee flavor. They come in different roasts, just like coffee, like dark French. They're not going to taste like a milk chocolate like you're used to. It's going to taste more like along that dark chocolate line unless you add sugar and milk, of course. Then you're going to get closer to that milk chocolate type of flavor. Basically, brewed cacao it's nothing really brand new. It's been around since like 1500, 1800 BC. The Mayans and the Aztecs used to brew cacao. Their drink was more bitter because they didn't have the sugar type things that we have today. And they also added things like chili, so it was more of a spicy type of a drink. Mayans, actually, the word cacao for the Mayans meant drink of the gods. And for the Aztecs, they actually used it as a form of currency, the beans. So there's a long history behind cacao just in general. Now in around 2008, a company called Toffee started up, and they basically take the cacao beans, they grind them themselves and roast them. And they started, as I said, in 2008, and they started selling to the home market. And then an offshoot company after Toffee came Creo Brew. I don't know if anybody's heard of either two of those companies, but they have been around for a while selling to the home market. I personally was looking for something to give me energy. I don't like coffee. So I was looking for something else. I don't like energy drinks. I don't like the chemicals in them. I tried 5 Hour Energy and that was horrible. So I heard of this brewed cacao and I tried it, and from the first taste, I loved it. And I thought, well, why can't I go to a cacao place like Starbucks and get something like this? So I started researching it a little more, and I'm going to get my list of benefits from drinking a brewed cacao. It is full of antioxidants. Where's my list? Okay, there it is. So it's got antioxidants to boost your immune system. It has magnesium to support bone health. It has natural mood enhancers so you feel great. It increases your focus, reduces your stress, you sleep better. It's low in carbs, calories, and fat. It acts as a natural appetite suppressant that can curb your appetite and promote weight loss. It is keto, paleo, Whole30, non-GMO, 100% gluten-free, dairy-free, cholesterol-free, soy-free, sodium-free, and sugar-free. And if that isn't enough, it is 99.9 caffeine-free. Instead, it contains theobromine, which is a naturally occurring stimulant that is longer lasting, it's milder, and more pleasant caffeine. So you don't get those caffeine jitters. In the health and fitness segment in the US alone, for just 2002, the projected revenue is projected to reach $6.99 billion. And that's just this year. And I thought this beverage would be great for those who are interested in a healthier alternative to coffee. People who don't like coffee, like me, of course, people who like chocolate. People who can't drink coffee, because cacao is, the pH is closer to neutral. So you don't get those stomach troubles that some people get with regular coffee. And I actually tested that one. A friend of mine can't drink coffee because of the acidity. I gave him some of the brewed cacao, and he had no trouble at all drinking it. So that was wonderful to find out. I was looking on fastcasual.com. 43% of their respondents had at least 1 cup of specialty coffee drink just yesterday. And for ages 25 to 39, that number was 55%. So that would be the highest number in all the age groups. And according to the Perfect Brew, they did a report. Women spend approximately $2,300 per year on coffee, and men spend just under $2,000, and that's per person. In the Eau Claire area, basically my ideal customer would be relatively health conscious, 18 to 39-year-olds, particularly UW students. And as I was looking around Eau Claire, I couldn't find anyone serving brewed cacao. The closest you're going to get are the coffee shops, Caribou, Starbucks, ECDC. There is the specialty drink shop, Star Cup, but they do more teas and smoothies and that kind of thing. They don't have any brewed cacao either. So that would make Cacao Cafe very unique with its offerings. And our mission statement is to offer a healthier alternative to coffee served fresh in a comfortable, clean surroundings. And I have this kind of broken out into 2 phases right now. The first phase is for a table at farmers markets, festivals, craft shows, that kind of thing, to get some more customer feedback, start getting the product and the name out there, do some more product testing. Right now, almost everybody I meet, I talk to about cacao, and they're all like, oh, that sounds wonderful, and that's great. And I've done some small testing with friends and family, and everybody found at least one roast that they liked, except my son, because he's very picky. But that's okay. We would also offer, besides the brewed cacao, there would be iced versions, of course. Iced coffees are very popular, and you can also serve the brewed cacao over ice. Then there are some cookies that I've developed. One of the cookies uses the grounds, so you're not wasting. Reduce, reuse, recycle, so we like that. And of course, these are both like a chocolate-based cookie. One is with the grounds, one is using the brewed cacao itself. Then eventually, or those would be offered at the tables at the farmers markets and that kind of thing. Eventually, then from there, I would like to open a shop, actual location. And then we would expand the menu to fresh made lemonade, a Brazilian limeade for something a little different and kind of creamy and fun. Oh, I forgot to mention, I've also developed a recipe for a hot chocolate using the brewed cacao. Then future plans after that include taking the Brazilian limeade, making like a popsicle out of it, so making a couple of frozen treats, making some cacao ice cream, and then taking what the Mayans used to use. Their drink was very frothy, bitter, and spicy, kind of bringing that up to the modern times here.
Geneva, I'm going to stop you here because we're at your 10-minute stop.
Oh, okay.
So if there's anything that wasn't covered, maybe in your question and answer period, we'll get to that.
Sure.
Now I'll open it
That's
up for the judges to have any questions for Geneva.
So do you have any hoped for timeline, Geneva? And what would you do if you won the idea challenge with the funds?
Okay. I was planning on doing the craft fairs, that kind of thing, through the spring. That should give me plenty of time to gauge interest and, tweak anything I need to tweak, look for a location, start putting money away. To date, I have used all my own money. I haven't sought any outside funding yet. For these funds, those funds would go to getting the rest of the equipment I need for the farmers markets and craft fair, a brewing machine and another table and some other things like that. And then the rest of the funds would be put aside to put down for any down payments or whatnot on the location.
Okay, and you
And
may
any
have-
additional equipment, because it would be a different brewing machine in the store. It would be a bigger one.
Sure. You
Mhm.
maybe said this, I might have missed it. Are the cacao beans more expensive generally than coffee beans?
They are, they seem to be a little more expensive, just because of, coffee's more popular, more people grow it. The vendor I'm going with, he doesn't exactly say he's fair trade, but they do go out of their way to pay the farmers above fair trade for their coffee beans to help those folks out.
Yeah. So your drinks may be a little more expensive than some of the coffee competition, and you do not plan
It's
to offer
actually
coffee?
not too bad. I'm coming in at like $3.50 for a 10-ounce cup,
Okay.
up
And
to like $4.50 for a 16-ounce.
do you plan to offer coffee as well? You may have said that, or are you just straight?
No, I was gonna start with just the cacao.
Thank you.
There is a cacao that is good for coffee drinkers.
Anything further from our judges?
I guess to expand on that last one a little bit, I mean, are there wholesale suppliers for the beans, the roasted beans?
There are for like the beans without being ground up.
I mean, I suppose, just you would probably grind the beans before you brew it yourself.
There are wholesale suppliers for the beans, but they wouldn't be roasted.
Okay. And you're not
And
thinking
roasting the
about,
beans is a tricky part, so.
got it.
And you would roast the beans yourself?
If I had the capability, I could, but as I said, it's pretty tricky. They're a little trickier than coffee beans to roast. And at least that's my understanding from the vendors. And it's much easier to have somebody else roast them.
Got it.
Perfect, and that brings us to the end of the time anyhow. So thank you so much for your presentation. I've never heard of cacao, so this is enlightening to me too. So I'll follow up with you next week, kind of with some
Okay.
next steps, all right?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Bye.
There seems to be a theme today of our presentations.
That one's a little tougher to grasp.
Yeah, when she applied, I like looked at like every coffee menu in town, trying to find, like, is this already happening? That I've never bought it before. I never noticed it before, and nobody does it.
It's unique. I just don't know how many people are gonna go away from their current crutch of coffee or tea to go to something like this.
She should join up with the tea lady. All right, our last
I'm
presenter.
not leaving my coffee, just so. You take my coffee from me and I'm done.
All right.
You and me both, Ann.
You are not the target market.
I would try it once for sure. I've heard of it, but yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
why deviate from coffee? when
You'd be a
it's
tough
so
sell.
good?
All right, is everybody ready for the last presenter?
Almost, I'm
Okay.
just getting the, yeah, I am ready. Okay.
Last presenter's Graham.
Mhm.
Did he present last year?
So they actually won last year,
That's what I thought.
but
Okay.
this is a different idea.
I thought you were gonna say a different Graham.
No, no. Same grant.
Ah,
But we had done
okay.
that, and we encourage people to apply in consecutive
Right.
years if they're a new idea, like that Kevin.
Yeah, for sure.
If they're just idea people, this is the right place for them, right?
it is.
Yeah. Pear, are you ready?
I am.
Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome. Good to see you again.
Likewise.
So I'll have the judges introduce themselves if you don't remember who they are, but you
think we
know who
remember.
you're chatting with today. Go
I'll
ahead,
go
Pear.
Yeah, hi, it's Per Forsberg.
Hey,
Yeah, hi. So still working with SCORE. In fact, I was just thinking about you the other day. I was building some things out of recycled, reused lumber, and made me think of you guys.
we'll have to get you a t-shirt.
All right.
Perfect. Anne,
Yeah, you know me. I'm still Ann Rupnow, still at UW Eau Claire, Venture Home, both. Nice to see you.
Likewise. We know Luke and we know.
You know me.
all right. You know
We're good.
everybody. Okay, fine. All right. Are you guys sharing screen or just talking?
Yeah.
Go ahead. It's enabled.
Okay,
Or
the
whenever
first half of our presentation is gonna be, seeing as how everybody kind of knows who we are. Wait, I have to, not that. Share screen. This one. Now we go here. View.
I'm glad you know how to do this.
I know, yeah.
He's got a background.
Okay, so.
Okay, what,
You know-
you ready?
Yep, you see everything okay?
We see your slideshow starting with, yep. It's
So let
not
me-
like in slideshow mode, maybe,
Okay, let me, what says,
or in, yeah.
here we go. Well, that would be view, don't want to view those. Doesn't like that. And exit full screen, I'll try one more time.
Well, thank you. We hope you enjoyed our presentation.
Yeah. Well, nice seeing you guys again.
Yeah, I guess we'll just kind of have to go this way. It doesn't.
We can roll with it. No big deal.
Okay, cool. So
All right, go ahead.
obviously, you know who we are, No Boundaries Tiny Homes. Our newest endeavor is sensory buses and how those sensory buses can serve the special needs youth in Chippewa Valley. I'm Chad, or I'm Graham, you're Chad.
Still.
Yep. Who we are, No Boundaries itself, founded last year, located in Eau Claire. I put a photo in of us. That's basically the type of guys we are. We're gonna have fun with what we're doing, but we want to make an impact at the same time. Our business model, you know that too. We build using reclaimed, and that still holds true to this new venture we're pursuing with the sensory buses. In the last year, this is what we've been able to do, just building reclaimed tiny homes, saunas, sheds, and the seasonal short-term rental bungalows. So in addition to that, we are getting to the finish line on this guy. The Greek Revival home made 90% reclaimed, however many trees.
I would
saved.
think, well, it's about 100,000 board feet. So that is about 140 mature trees that were saved because we used reclaim on that house.
So taking all of that, we're rolling into a sensory bus. And where this idea came about is we were contacted by the DC Everest School District in 2021 about a sensory bus, but putting a sensory bus together for the district. And we really didn't even know what exactly it was. And so they explained to us, well, what is a sensory bus? Well, they have special needs kids that are on the trigger for autism, and they have triggers within a classroom that it becomes a disruptive environment for everybody. And these kids they can't be a part of a traditional classroom setting. So this bus then, they have some kids with extreme cases to the point where they can't even come to school some days. So this bus travels to their homes, and it's also can be on a school grounds, but the kids can come in here and basically be removed from that traditional classroom setting, still have the opportunity to learn. And then the bus is outfitted with all of these different sensory items, and they're able to be taken away or put away if one thing triggers another kid. But
we thought it was going to be a pretty easy build, I guess. They contacted us and said, can you do this? And we said, well, sure. We figured we just look it up and do what other people are doing. What we found out is nobody's doing it, which was really bizarre. I think we're like the first or second one. The other one wasn't publicly funded though.
Right.
It was just a private thing. So we believe there could be a really great future for these things, and we want to start, right here. We did the one for DC Everest, but we think we can get one in Eau Claire School District is kind of what we're kind of rocking towards.
So just taking a look there, you can see that's gym floor reclaimed. That if you can see my mouse here, but this whole ladder system is built from.
Yeah, the jungle gym is built from beams from a building that was built in 1917. The flooring came out of Spring Valley, Florida. We've also used that for wainscot.
Yep.
You're going to see other trim boards in there that came out of St. Pat's School. There's slate that came out of St. Pat's School. There's metal that was reclaimed out of a building that used to be a dairy. So the whole thing, everything that we do in our day-to-day builds, whether it's a 5,500 square foot house or 100 square foot bungalow, built out of reclaimed is the centerpiece of it. But this now we're even hitting another thing that we're really we want to move forward with. So reclaim can now help kids is kind of a cool thing. This stuff would have been in a dumpster, and now it's a centerpiece of what could be helping children across the Chippewa Valley.
And we were able to have Cindy Kaiser, if that name is familiar to any of you, come and do this mural on the top ceiling there. And they're the evergreens at DC Everest. So she came in, and you can kind of see here, it's a tree themed bus, and they're calling it the Tree House. So that's where we kind of came up with the green. And
we do have a wrap design for them, but they don't have the bus wrapped as of yet.
So if this will play, we took the bus over there and unveiled it. It's very, very soft, cold unveil for their special needs people, but you can see how.
I didn't know the inside was going to be painted. Oh my goodness, look at the floor.
Oh, I know, the floor is the best.
Like, that's the first thing I saw.
That's cool.
So obviously that's about as validating as a day as we could have, with a reaction like that. And these are the people working directly with these kids. So this is going to be an extreme difference maker for them. And obviously they're very excited about it.
At this age, these kids this bus can actually get them to that next stepping stone. They're not at a point where they've hit a plateau socially or sensory wise. So this could actually, to get the, if they couldn't be in a classroom setting, this bus goes to them. It can actually lead to improvements, which is pretty exciting to think about.
You can see even some of the stuff here, like this, they had asked us for a closet. And so we thought, well, if they're the evergreens, we have all these, these live edge logs that we have a sawmill here. So why don't we incorporate one of those to actually make it look like a tree? And it has little hooks on it.
Yeah.
And then Cindy came back once we put that in and painted the top here to tie into the tree. So it's been and that was probably the culmination of 4 different ideas from people in the shop here working on this project. So
again, no building plans, because it kind of happens as it happens, kind of like a lot of our builds do. And every one would be unique, obviously, to, obviously we went to an evergreens theme in Eau Claire. We'd come up with something, oddly enough, we could do something like, I think one of the ideas we were throwing around for the one in Eau Claire theme would be the logging theme, just because that holds true to the entire Chippewa Valley. So it would be not similar to this and that, it'd be more of the, that the mural would dictate, more of a local sort of a vibe.
And so where our vision eventually would be to have, a couple of these different buses available locally so we can meet everyone's needs. But, just initially starting with being able to do one would be fantastic. The need is not limited to educational institutions. My partner, she's a PA, and she's telling me, even from the county standpoint, she sees patients, kids that are on that have these sensory triggers, and once they hit a certain age and the services that the county can offer is no longer available. So we want to actually create a nonprofit that these buses would be under the nonprofit, so we can seek additional funding through programs for nonprofits, grants, whatever. And the idea, where the idea challenge comes in, is we would take that. We would like to utilize that initial funding to work with an attorney to file to get our 501(c)(3) status as a nonprofit, and then roll from there. With this project, there's again the potential to collaborate with the school district for kids, to get them involved with the build out of the bus and the additional buses, and then even working with CVTC for internship programs. We've also, you've heard us talk before about our jobs program for gentlemen or ladies and gentlemen that might be older and their bodies won't hold up anymore to climbing up and down ladders. Well, this is a perfect opportunity for them, because there's really no.
Yeah, we can check a lot of boxes off with things that we had planned to do through No Boundaries. Like Graham said, the Works program, the working with students and working with Reclaimed. Well, now we can add another box and check it at the same time, theoretically, because all those things we wanted to get off the ground, maybe building sheds or something. We really think that this could take off if we can take this bus and not only make it a bus for the Chippewa Valley, but also an ambassador of sorts to other towns around, starting with Wisconsin, obviously, but why not start moving this all over the country with this bus? Is kind of what our aspect, this is where we want to go with it, and make it, these sensory buses, synonymous with Eau Claire. When people think about them, think about, oh yeah, this is the thing that started in Eau Claire, and now boom, it's all across the country. I think we could do that. I really do, because the reaction we got from this while it was in our shop was so overwhelming. And what you saw there was nothing. Once we got inside with the camera, there was ladies who were crying, and they were just, it was really kind of bizarre. And that's what led us to this idea of the nonprofit, and getting this off the ground was, quite frankly, was their reaction, along with other people that saw the bus.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to stop you here 10 minutes, but anything you didn't cover, we can get into with the questions part here.
Okay.
So now I have 5 minutes with the judges for some questions and answers. Anybody have anything yet?
You did most of that. Most is right.
Before you start talking about the 501(c)(3), with the potential clients like the Eau Claire schools, let's say, are you thinking that the client in this case supplies the bus, right? Or you go out and do everything?
So this slide on your screen, that is a need. The probably the reason that you don't see a lot of these out there is because that bus is getting a hold of that bus is a big financial commitment initially. So
Yeah.
we talked. Both Chad and I are good friends with the Phi family who own Student Transit in Eau Claire. Our kids are the same age. So we actually had them here and go through the bus and talked with them about a partnership where they potentially could, if they have a bus that has, all the seats are shot, something along those lines, rather than repair that, we could partner with them to be able to get a hold of buses and basically sell them back to the client. And then
They're pretty excited about it too.
they're really excited about it. And then partnering with them too on like the maintenance aspect of it here locally. We don't have to hire a mechanic. We don't have to try and find some.
And every district is going to have the same setup. They're going to
Exactly.
have a bus company that we work with. So at the heart of this, we're going to be working with these bus companies. And I don't think there's going to be any that are going to be opposed to the idea once we lay out this model with the Phis. I think this is going to be, like I said, not only great for the Chippewa Valley, but this is going to be a model that we can move, to outlying areas while keeping the work being done right in Eau Claire.
Right.
Through our nonprofit in Eau Claire, which again is going to hire people, like Graham said, people down on their luck, maybe people just getting out of prison that need a break. We can give people like that a hand. That's what we want to do. That's really our main goal. And this bus, we see a way for us to expedite that and move that forward.
So what are your next steps and what are you hoping to do if you would win the challenge?
The money would be spent on attorneys essentially to
establish the nonprofit. And then from there, we would start to work with the Phi family and Student Transit, at least in beginning the acquisition process of the first bus.
Thank you.
You said that this was the first or maybe second bus like this you've seen, but probably in DC Everest didn't think of this out of the blue sky. Is there research, elsewhere in the country that shows the efficacy of this approach, that would help you in getting the kind of support and momentum you need with these bus companies and school districts and others?
Yeah, so the bus for DC Everest, one of the Lamers from
no,
the
that's
Lamers.
not where I think he's going somewhere else. There's, as far as like you're looking at something that's been done already, and if there's a blueprint for it.
No, I'm looking at, something beyond the sort of feel good and reaction that you got. And these people obviously.
Could we scroll up one? We actually have some people that looked at the bus and told us what their thoughts were, how it could help and move forward.
And the reason that DC Everest has it is Lamers, the gentleman donated the bus. He has a special needs kid and their needs weren't being met. And so by doing that opened the door for, so with the donated bus, they were able to then get the funds to have us complete the build out. And then once we start talking to different educators in town here, just locally bouncing this off them. And these two in particular have come out and looked at this bus. They're in the classroom every day. You can see they provided us with these quotes and what the need is for this. There's right now there's like a sensory room at Eau Claire North, which is not really removed. It's still a situation.
There's still kids that can't use it.
Yep.
Because they can't come to school.
Yep.
It's just that simple. There is one other one. They said that's what they told us in the country. We couldn't find anything.
Yep.
They said theirs was kind of loosely based on one that was done on the East Coast, but privately funded. Again, right. They said that theirs was the first one that was, funded, through grassroots and whatever, doing that. It wasn't just one philanthropist, so to speak. I guess through the talks that we've talked to pretty much everybody in special needs that has worked in it and helped us, we we went to a lot of wells for information to come up with these designs, local people, and the reaction from teachers, people on the, the troops that are on the ground, so to speak, not the ones that are writing policy, but the ones that are there with the kids, with the triggers. They're the ones that cover the sharp edges, do this, do this, do this. But they were still blown away with the idea. And again, we're not trying to show you the good feels. We were trying to show you the general reaction there, I think, as to they're like, damn, this is going to work. This is, that's what they were excited about it. And I know it kind of came across a little as, bus driver moved that bus and everybody starts crying when they see the new house. But I think the reactions were more of,
It's going to
damn, this is going to work. This
make
is,
an impact.
it's going to make a difference. You can see here from, again, a little bit of nepotism, but my sister is a professor at the university. She was blown away by this. And I've been with her every step of the way. When I used to own Atlas Construction, we sponsored the special needs program in Hayward because she was a teacher up there. So this has always been something that's really close to me because of her genuine, not only interest, but obviously this is her life. So as her sibling, obviously I've been by her side through this and seen the impact that she's made and wanted to help in any way, shape, or form. And when she said that this can move kids to a next level, kids that haven't, plateaued, that said to me, okay, this isn't, good feels are one thing. Okay, look at the kid can play for a little bit, hoorah. But this is way beyond that. This is kids can move forward socially because of a bus like this. And then all of a sudden, boom, they're in school, and then boom, they're next level. I will tell you this firsthand. We saw what can happen when kids are given a chance. We had a kid who was in 8th grade working here in 2020. The rest of the kids were all going to be seniors or juniors the next year, okay, or seniors are graduating next year. We had football captains, we had hockey captains, we had soccer captains. It was crazy, the kids that worked out here. And then we had this one 8th grader with, he wasn't special needs, but he was autism and on the spectrum. Now he plays football at North. Okay, these kids took him in. We know what can happen when the right sensory needs are being met. In his case, sensory meant social, okay, and being around people. And it just flipped a switch. There could be.
I'm gonna have to cut you off.
We're up. We're done.
Yeah,
I think
5
it's
minutes. is up.
fantastic what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I appreciate your guys' time today. So I'll follow up early next week of kind of some next steps, but I appreciate you guys and your presentation today.
We appreciate all of you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good to
guys.
see you.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
The storytelling gets going, all right?
They're nothing if not passionate, right?
Indeed. Indeed.